Get Axel. I'm gonna Discord call Axel. How do I call Axel? Is it Axel live? Do you wanna talk on my stream with me? What time is it in Estonia? Hey Siri, what time is it in Estonia? It's 5 in the morning. Sure, give me like 10 minutes. Okay, I got Axel in 10 minutes. Oh, he's in the chat. Axel, you sly dog. You were here for some boy advice, weren't you? I look like the guy from Kick-Ass. I remember when that movie came out and the trailers of it, and I wanted to watch it so bad, but my parents wouldn't let me. When did that come out? Okay, Google, when did Kick-Ass come out?
In Canada, Kick-Ass came out on April 16th, 2010.
2010. I was, yeah, 9 years old, maybe. Maybe it was Kick-Ass 2. Sorry about that. Am I on a Discord call with somebody? Oh gosh. Hello? Soj? Could you hear me this whole time, Soj? I can't hear you if you talk. I don't know why. So, I'll see you later, Soj. I gotta get out of this call. I don't know how. Axel's coming on in a little bit. Wow, my posture. If I got my posture thing, it would just be a floating posture thing.
You got a dollar?
Okay. Oh, that actually is a lot better. Let's answer one more person before Axel comes on. Hello, who am I speaking to today?
Hi, Hamza. It's Julia.
Julia, nice to speak to you. How can I help you tonight?
Okay, I'm having boy issues and I need your help.
Oh, boy issues. I would say, oh, sorry, I just got a donation. I'd like to apologize. Yep, no problem. Shows you. That's okay. I would say for boy, so you run a guy?
Well, okay, I'm in the friend zone right now.
Yeah, so how old are you?
I'm 19.
Okay, so I would say, are you in college?
Yes, I am.
I would say, to start with, I would say it's like cold pool of water. Like once you jump in that cold pool, then you're swimming. So you have to find that pool. So you just gotta let the man let the man know how you feel, and then you move from there, because um you don't got time for this, right?
What was that?
You don't have time for this. You just gotta.
No, no, I don't have time. I want out of the friend zone.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. So I would say, yeah, maybe look into women. My opinion, they are kind of the move. It's but at the
You're
end of
so
the
right about that.
yeah, that'd
Women
be
are great.
yeah, that'd be my advice. That would be mine. Yeah,
Okay, well, thank you so much.
yeah, yeah. You stay safe.
You too. Bye.
I can't do any more boy advice. Please. Oh, Axel. Okay, let me call Axel. Axel, hello?
Yo.
That's why no one can hear me. It's coming out of my speakers. Wait, give me 2 seconds.
Alright.
Are you just calling for more boy advice?
Um. Yeah. No,
Why
actually, I'm eating candy. I'm having the time of my life.
why are you awake at 5 in the morning, Estonia time?
Um. I usually kind of live in this time zone because it's more optimal for my work, but I also have like pretty deep insomnia, so I just don't sleep in general.
Okay. You order any European hot dogs tonight, if you know what I mean?
Not tonight, man. I've
Uh,
been eating cheese balls.
okay. This is a good combination, I say. It's what do you think you need advice for from me?
Um, I don't know, man. I would say I'm pretty set. Like I kind of know what I'm doing. Do you need any advice?
Hmm. Well, I'm really bad at Among Us to start with, but that's just where it starts. I would say I don't know what to do with my future, and I feel like life is meaningless, and that everything is just an ingenuine, insincere performance for other people, and nothing means anything.
Right.
So where do I
So
start from there?
um, well, you say life is meaningless. Why does it need to have a meaning? You can just have some fun. You can just. That's how I see it. I used to look for a meaning in life. I used to be like, what is the point in anything that I'm doing? And then I was like, why does there need to be a point in anything I'm doing? I just want to have fun. I just want to get crazy. I want to do what, you know, uh, makes me happy. And I feel like there's meaning within that. There's meaning within me doing
What you want?
uh, what I want and hanging around the people that I like. There's I feel like because life is such a complex thing, there's no um there's no one meaning, there's many different avenues to explore in different parts of your life. um and being uncertain about your future, the thing about that is, um I've been there myself quite recently, in fact. But I think what you need to realize when it comes to that is that things can change really fast. I for a while felt like my career wasn't going anywhere. I was like a 300 viewer Andy on Twitch. I got 300 viewers for literally like a year and a half. There was literally zero growth, and at a certain point, I was like, I don't necessarily need growth because I was able to support myself. But it was kind of this point where it was like, if it's not growing, then at one point it's going to start stagnating, and then out of nowhere, when I least expected it, it all just kind of exploded. And that's what you kind of got to wait for in life. You got to wait for those random explosions.
Would you say that there is any uh, thing wrong with stagnation per se? Not with myself. I haven't stagnated yet. It's been exponential growth, to be honest. But if I did theoretically stagnate, or anyone who's listening, is there any shame in stagnation?
No, there's no shame in stagnation because, you know, when when we look at life, I feel like we kind of tunnel vision it in a way where we only look at life and we're like, we only have to be going up. We only have to be going up. Um, but in reality, there's a great value in kind of going up and down sometimes. Sometimes, like the saying goes, like you got to take one step back to go two steps forward. There can sometimes be a great value
Kind of like
in.
stocks.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the stock market. It's like, it's that whole shit. It's there's a great value in sometimes maybe taking a step back, taking it a little bit slower. Because the way I look at life is that it always works out. So even if you're stagnating, that's not the end of the world. You can kind of use stagnation as like an opportunity to learn maybe something new, or maybe change your approach to something else if that's what you want. Because at the end of the day, what really matters is what you want. You shouldn't feel like you need to want what other people want for you. You should kind of evaluate what your priorities are and follow that. You know,
Have you seen that movie Soul?
the Pixar one.
Yeah, with Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, I think that did do a lot to me, to be honest. I thought it was a little Pixar movie, but I finished that, and yeah, I was like, I like took my shoes and socks off and put my feet in the grass. Like that's what it made me do. So I think,
Mm-hmm.
I think yeah, I think what you're saying is very true, and that um, there's purpose in other things, not just purpose and responsibility, purpose in um, whatever and everything you do. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, when you're an influencer, something that has happened to me, for example, is that it can kind of seem like if I'm not this anymore, then what is my purpose? Like this is like, because I've been doing this for a few years now, and there have been points where when I was going through points of stagnation, I got these ideas of if I'm not this creator, then what is the point? Like if I'm not here, then like why should I be anywhere? But it's really good to learn that there are so many ways to live life. There's so many different ways to live life. There's so many different things to do in life. Just because maybe one thing doesn't work out doesn't mean it's the end of the world, because there's so many different things to do and fall back on.
Yes, exactly. What do you say about the combination or the paradox or the which is it with free will and destiny? I would say, because I feel like that goes hand in hand. Of this is not what I'm gonna do, or this doesn't have to be the only thing I'm gonna do, but is
Mhm.
it also that this is, and if this isn't what I'm gonna do, then that's the right thing that's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, when it comes to like destiny and stuff, it's honestly like it's hard for me to fully say where I stand on stuff like that, because I think, there's a lot of, the main reason why I'm here today is because I did certain things. Like I chose to do this and I chose to do that. But then there's also a lot of reasons why I'm here where it's like I didn't do this thing with the intention of this happening, like
I think that's
um
it. Yeah, that second point is what bugs me the most, because I'm like, if there's no way I would have known that I'd be here, then that means in 5 years I literally have no idea what's gonna happen. You know what I mean?
oh yeah, 100%. It can be scary, it can really be, it can be a little bit freaky thinking about how I think it's in human nature to want to be in control. So when you're not in control, especially when it comes to the future, it can be very, it can make you very shaky and anxious, because, God knows where this ship is heading. But um, I mean, I just, I've been through so many moments in my life where I've been like, oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna get past this, and it always just works out. It has always worked out. So that's how I just always feel about it. I just always feel like no matter how bad it gets, or how hopeless or meaningless I might feel at some points, I know that, eventually I'm going to get past this point because I always have, you know?
Yeah. That's yeah, and because once you're at the bottom, only ways up. So basically, yeah, and I think in regards to the future, it's like, what's the alternative to not knowing what's gonna happen? I mean, you knowing what's gonna happen. That I kind of don't want it to be some plotted. I know what I'm doing this year, then that year, then maybe
Yeah,
it's
there's a lot of excitement in not knowing,
yeah,
because it's like God knows what might happen. There's a lot of fun things that are going to happen, and you don't even have any idea that they will happen. So,
yeah.
um, I do want to add a side note to the because when I clicked on your stream, somebody was talking about the friend zone. Um, I need to like I think an advice that I needed to hear about the friend zone when I was like 16 or whatever or 17 was that you need to literally throw that whole concept away. The friend zone, this just means that this person is not interested in you romantically, and if you keep calling it the friend zone, you are kind of, and this is a very blunt and honest truth, and it's, it might hurt to hear, but believe me, it's something that you might need to hear. By calling it the friend zone, you are deluding yourself into thinking that there's still somehow a chance, um, which
Mm.
sometimes, you know, human relationships, they can develop over time, whatever, but it's way more beneficial to you to be honest about it and say to yourself, well, this one didn't work out, I'll fucking do something else, like the friend zone. If when you keep saying that you're in the friend zone, you're still stuck on this person, you're still letting this person kind of control you, and kind of, you know um kind of like they take up a lot of space in your head, and there's no reason for them to take up any space in your head because there's that's, it's not
There's
going to happen.
there's no chance. What do you think about if you did do the baller move and you disregarded this friend zone idea, and then you go off do your own thing, and then they switch up? Because I think some people who are in the friend zone are in it because I mean, some people are delusional, but maybe
Hmm.
the person's like, I'm not ready yet, maybe in the future. And then
Yeah.
you do your thing, and then they come back to you. Is that, did you deserve that? Should you go back for that? Or, nah, it's too late?
um I really think that's definitely a more of a case to case basis, but you know it's I've definitely had that. I actually had some similar to that happen with um a few years back. There was this person that I liked, and then they didn't like me back. But then as soon as I started kind of like popping off on YouTube, all of a sudden this person was showing a lot more interest in me, and all of a sudden, like, I felt like the kind of tables had turned, um, where I felt like this person all of a sudden saw me in a different light because I was doing well for myself. Um, and it was a really big mind fuck. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't even know how to deal with that.
Yeah,
Like, I
because,
didn't
like,
even.
is it too late for them? Or is it like, hey, I deserve this. Let me go back and get that.
Yeah, yeah, it's hard. It's really hard to actually see someone's true intentions in that moment because you know, it's like, this person could be 100%, because you can't control your feelings sometimes, you know, um sometimes people just their feelings change and develop. I've had that happen where I didn't like somebody as like that. I never saw them in that light, and then guess what? One day I just woke up and all of a sudden I was feeling all sorts of things about a person. So then it's like, you know, things like that can happen, but
You know what I think it
it's
is? I think
yeah.
it's in that case, for example, maybe it's that in the first instance they had requirements or like superficial type criteria to even enter the chances of being in any kind of relationship, so that you know it's like natural for someone to want to be with someone who's successful, maybe financially or socially or
Hmm.
something. But once, they never even got to know the real you. So maybe all it took was that um, getting past that superficial beginning criteria, and
That is true.
then then you really know. But if from the beginning, if they don't like you and they quote unquote friend zone you because they know how you are and they don't like you for who you are, then I think that's the differentiating thing, maybe.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I definitely think it also just depends on like what kind of person they are, you know. Um, it's very like I don't know. It's very, you know, there's people that I guess are in general more mean spirited or like more like I don't know, they're just built different. So I feel like those people, you know, they fill in their own criteria, and then I think there's nice people that can, and I feel like in that situation it definitely could be a whole other situation, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
I don't know. I think with the ideal partner, I think is someone who's not looking for a partner to fill something that they can't fill themselves, type of thing.
yeah.
I'm
You
talking
know,
like I've been in a relationship. This is exciting.
I I was reading this thing yesterday, and it really made me think about how I feel like I fucking hate the word society because it's, you know, it's been so tainted by the fucking Joker movie. Like that's actually, it's actually like I don't know what other fucking word they use, but like society really undervalues platonic relationships. You know,
Mm.
I feel like we're always kind of told like, you know, the end goal is that you get a romantic partner and you stay with that person and you get a fucking house together, but it's like why do we like undervalue the idea of just having like a best friend and then you spend your life with that best friend too? Like it's just like I think like for example the whole concept of marriage, like somebody like brought up this point where it was like, you know, the whole idea of marriage is you share your finances, you share like property, you share all these things. Like, why can't you do that with like a best friend? You know, like I guess you could get like married, but it's like it's still like marriage has this like really romantic undertone to it. So it's like it's an interesting way to look at things differently. Where it's like you could just have a friend for the rest of your life. Like it's just like society kind of needs this has this like need to just box ourselves into these requirements. You know. Um,
Yeah, but I bet if I moved in with my own boy and we start, sharing the same bank account, I might just start
mhm.
kissing him the next day. Like I don't know what might just happen. So you gotta set this kind of stuff. Yeah, but I know what you mean. I think I think it is undervalued, but yeah, maybe you can get both. I think that's a win-win.
Yeah, yeah, for
Because
sure.
I think it is some of it is based in kind of nature-ish. People want to reproduce and have a kid and that kind of
Oh yeah.
passing on type thing. So I guess, but yeah, definitely because what's gonna happen when you do get boot up and then you have kids and then you're miserable or something, or you have no
That's
friends.
that
Yeah.
shit's scary, dude. Those motherfuckers that are in like 20-year marriages where they like completely hate their life, but they're like so stuck, like
Yeah.
they can't go anywhere. Like that's fucking terrifying.
You're
Really
telling me.
makes me value my life right now where it's like there's nobody depending on me really. I'm just like I'm worrying about myself, you know.
Yeah.
Um that's a fucking good existence, honestly.
I think with a lot of this stuff, and it's kind of like what you don't want to hear when you don't know what to do and you're looking for an answer of some kind. It's like gratitude, I think, is like it's so boring, but it's like if you just take a second to be like, at least I don't have a paper cut, start there, or like at least I don't have, or at least I'm not this, or at least I'm healthy, then I think that's enough to like even if I'm in a really bad position, I just remember that and I'm like, oh yeah, what am I complaining about for me
Mm.
personally?
Oh yeah.
But that's not what people want to hear is that like, oh, you're not even getting it as bad as. But me personally, if even if you write it down, you get a piece of paper and a pencil and you just keep on writing what you're grateful for. I think that's I feel like they do that in therapy. That sounds like a therapy thing.
Yo, yeah, I've definitely done that in therapy. Um, I it's really random. I was watching like I think it was like one of the H3 podcasts, like one of the fucking 8 podcasts that they have on the channel. And Ethan Klein actually said something that like really stuck with me, which is really funny
No
because I did
way.
not expect him to drop this knowledge bomb. But he said something like how his dad always used to say that if everybody put their problems into a hat and then, everybody started picking out the problems at random and then whatever problem you got, that's the problems that you have. Everyone at the end of the day would probably want their own problems back, because it's like you're like everybody has these like whole like everybody has problems that you cannot even imagine, and it's easy to look at your problems and be like, oh man, this shit sucks and this shit sucks and I have this bad, but like I think quarantine was like a great reminder of the privileges that I have, because not once during quarantine did I ever have to worry about money or having a roof over my head or like anything like that. I did have problems in quarantine where it's like I had big problems with like isolation and it was pretty like lonely at parts, but at the same time like it could have been worse. There's people that kind of have to deal with all of them, and my problem is just like kind of waiting it out. Um, so that was really the bigger
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah, I think that analogy is really good. And I think quarantine did do a lot for people, with especially like, I think why people are so harsh on themselves is because only you know the amount of potential that you have not fulfilled or refused to even attempt to like try. Only you know the thing that you could have started and you didn't. Only you know the thing that you screwed up that you could have not screwed up. Only you know that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And when you compare to someone else who's you don't know, you just think that they're not going through that kind of stuff, so you feel crazy. But yeah, that's why you can only compare yourself to your old self. I think is a good
It
baseline.
I think that's a good way to definitely look at it is you can it's very easy to be down on yourself. It's always a lot easier to be down on yourself than to actually kind of be honest with yourself and kind of praise yourself and being kind to yourself. Like something that's very good and positive to do is you really have to keep track of the progress that you've made as a person,
Mm.
you know? And then sometimes, pat yourself on the back. Like, a year ago, I wasn't able to do this or I wasn't able to do that, but I overcame it and now I'm able to do this, that. And you should really, you should really be grateful for the steps that you've taken to better yourselves. I think that's
Yeah, we're proud.
that's
I think
something.
it. Yeah, I think even that is. It's so important to realize that it's like small steps is literally all of it. Um, like that's how you exponentially grow and benefit yourself is you start small. That's like the only way to do it. So yeah, I think that's why it's hard for people to recognize or be grateful or proud of themselves is because they think what they're doing is so incremental and small, but that's literally what it is you start very incremental and small. But yeah. Dude, it's like 6 in the morning in Estonia.
Yeah, it's late as hell, but not for me. I'm used to it.
Yeah. What time
I'm
do you
just
wake up?
chilling. I usually recently my schedule's been I go to bed at like 5 p.m. and I wake up at like 11 p.m. and then I just go about it. I do my stuff.
What? That's like I don't think I could give you worse than that. 5 to 11 is like prime awake hours. Not that's
The thing is like I've been doing this for like 3 years now. Like the thing is like even when I'm like because I have insomnia in general, so I don't sleep that much anyways. Like even when I was in the US, I would probably go to sleep at like 4 or 5 a.m. and then I'd be up by like 10 a.m. and I'd be like doing shit. And I would that's probably the schedule I would be on if I lived in the US. The only reason I think during quarantine I really stopped giving a shit because I was like I'm not fucking going anywhere. Like I have no like in real life responsibilities really.
right.
Um
Until you need to
so
go to the bank or something, and then you gotta
yeah,
go.
then it is annoying. Then it is like then I gotta go to the bank and I'm like fucking my eyes are like sideways because I'm like fucking I haven't slept in like 48 hours and then I've been there. One time I went to get a haircut when I hadn't slept in like 20 hours and I was like I almost fell asleep in the chair because the barber was like fucking whispering in my ear and shit. It was like ASMR.
I think my barber lets me sleep when I get my hair cut. You gotta get a better barber.
That's
'Cause,
sweet.
yeah, he just like props my head up and just he doesn't have to tell me to move my head back. He just moves it for me. You gotta I don't know if they have that in Estonia, but in Canada they have a lot of what do they call it? Greek life. I think that's what they call it, or amenities. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, you should come up to Canada, I think. Or how cold is it right now?
Does Canada use Fahrenheit or Celsius?
It uses Celsius, but I use Fahrenheit, so this is awkward.
Ooh, it's -1 Celsius here right now, so whatever the fuck that is in Fahrenheit.
Oh, I think that's pretty good weather, isn't it? Or decent?
It's pretty okay. You know, it was worse like last month when it was like snowing and shit. I would love to visit Canada.
Yeah, it's they got a lot of well, every once in a while I'll see a video of like Switzerland and it looks like heaven, but then I'll see some of London and it just looks like um London. So, what's Estonia?
Switzerland is fucking amazing. I'd love to visit Switzerland. Estonia is very like there's a lot of very cool architecture in Estonia. There's some middle-aged uh there's some fucking like medieval architecture, old towns and shit. It looks cool as fuck. Um but yeah, the UK is listen, all right. No disrespect to any British people
No,
that are in the
I'm all
chat,
for disrespect of British
but
people.
your guys' country for the most part is fucking ugly. Like you guys got some fucking ugly ass architecture. Like most of the buildings are fucking depressing. The streets are depressing. The culture is great. The people are hilarious, but like God, like you people literally live in hell.
What
Like
I'm
it's
worried about
miserable.
is they don't have a lot of land, cause that looks like that looks like a Hawaii type island, and I see sometimes a video of like a field of lambs, and I'm like, you're gonna need a room for all your roadmen or something. Where are you gonna put all the houses? I feel like there's not enough space. Where was Estonia in World War II? What was it doing?
It was kind of like you know, the thing about Estonia is it's always just been like whenever there's like a war, like literally 95% of Estonia's history is it being invaded by other nations around it. Uh, it's literally just always been invaded. It's always been like, you know, we've been fucking the Russians have gotten us, the fucking Germans, fucking Swedes, fucking Danes, dude. Everybody at one point has had their turn with us. Um, and during World War II, it was kind of a limbo because okay, so to give like a brief history lesson, Estonia first got its independence in like I think it was 1918, and then it was independent until the Second World War, and then it bounced between Germany and the USSR, and eventually the USSR occupied Estonia, which it was, and then it was in the USSR until like 1991, I think. Um, so
So
you
it's a
know,
little bit of a slut. It's getting passed around, is what you're telling me.
yeah,
Stone.
and that's how we love it here, I guess.
Yeah. It sounds like my kind of country, to be honest. I'd say I'm still looking for an abode. You been there all your life?
I've been here, yeah, yeah, and I definitely am like, you know, I'm kind of looking to do this thing where I'm going to move abroad so I can kind of appreciate Estonia more because I feel like I've been here for so long that I'm like, I don't want to like, um, you know, I don't want to. I need to see something else. I need to, because I every time I go on a trip and I come home, I'm sad. I want to come home and feel happy, you know,
Oh,
like I
sad
want to
that
be
you're home.
like, what you say?
Sad that you're back in Estonia?
Yeah, yeah, because I'm just like, well, another problem is like, you know, most of my friends, or basically almost all of my friends, do not live here. So I'm like, there's nothing keeping me here right now. The only thing keeping me here is the fact that there's literally, um, no, like, I can't go anywhere legally because it's fucking
Is it the visas and crap?
the, yeah, because you know, because of Corona and shit, all the borders got closed down. So I have nowhere to go right now. So I'm just waiting.
I'm in the same boat actually. Literally the same thing. I've been trying to, and I'm right on the border, so they won't even let me through that way. But yeah, what is it? Texas is what you're heading to?
Um, yeah, I think so, yeah, but before I get there, I just want to like take some time off and just travel in general, visit like a bunch of my friends all over the world. I want to go to New York, man. I've always wanted to go to New York. That's somewhere I'm gonna go.
New York's pretty iconic, I would say. Yeah, you should go to New York. I think it's like scary when you go there. It's you get there and it's really New York, and then you like get out of there. You get jumped by those um, furries who take pictures with you. You ever seen those? They like make you pay
Oh,
200 bucks.
yeah, yeah. I just can't imagine like standing in the midst of all those fucking humongous buildings. Like it's just big building after big building. Like that's crazy. concrete jungle, as they call it.
Concrete jungle. What's the song? Oh, yeah. Yeah. I would say I think yeah, I think I lived in a small city of like 30,000 people like all my life. Well, what's the population of your zone?
Where I live, it's like 100K, but
100K.
the biggest city in Estonia is like 600K. Which is like half the country because the population of Estonia is like 1.3 million. But yeah,
So you're not even in the main.
no, no, yeah.
Wow, you're living large, I'd say. I think I remember when moving to I live in a like 1.3 million is the population of where I live now. So yeah, the big building stuff. I always thought everybody thought it was weird. Not everybody. I think I'm imagining that. Or I think nobody related to me. Well, yeah, you could just stand next to like a bunch of buildings and you're like, oh my god. Or like, you should go to. You got big mountains over there.
Nope, fucking flat as hell, dude.
Oh
The
god.
biggest, the biggest mountain we have, it's a hill. It's called Big Egg Mountain, and it's like 300 meters tall. I don't know what measurements you guys use.
Big Egg Mountain. That doesn't sound like a mountain. That sounds like a hill. Yeah.
No,
Big.
it definitely is a hill. It's fucking pathetic as hell.
Yeah, I think I moved here just next to mountains, and once you move next to mountains, you didn't never come back without mountains.
I fucking love mountains. I went to Morocco like a few years ago.
Oh wow.
Fucking mountains everywhere. Fucking beautiful.
Yeah, you gotta come to like 20 minutes away from me is Banff. I have a in the horizon is just mountains. So I mean I hate to flex on you, but
I literally
it's like
Canada's one of my destinations, man. I'm gonna come hang out.
it's like a water bottle. You know, you ever see what you just like a water bottle came to life, the little label on it. I think you should.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's pretty. I haven't really explored it much to be honest, but it's. I think Canada is underrated. I would say it's pretty. Like I'd say it's better than America, other than like
Oh yeah, for sure.
$20 shipping when you order from like Gulf Wang. Then you're like good. Like there's not a lot of difference, except the stores are different. I didn't realize that it would be like that, but yeah, I think you should.
You guys got legal weed now, right?
Yeah, everywhere, and like at 18 or something. So
That's fucking powerful stuff.
Estonia doesn't.
Nope. We got
What?
CBD's legal, but it's not. I possessing weed isn't illegal. It's like a misdemeanor, which is like the same as like jaywalking, I guess. Um, but there's no like actual like
Can't.
official merchant or anything.
Damn. Yeah, I went to
Um,
Vancouver, and it's the beach smelled like a skunk's anus. It's really they are taking liberty of the freedom. It's
you know,
really
I will say about weed is that I've the smell's grown on me. I when I was when I was a young one, when I was bouncing up and down the street, didn't really like it. I thought it was gross. But then now that I'm older, I kind of like it. I used to look at those people that like would pick up little buds of weed and they would smell it and they would be like, "Oh, that's fucking good." I'd be that's weird. But I have done that. Um
Yeah, it's a flower, you know. People smell roses, so can't you
it's
smell?
nature, man. It's beautiful. We need to embrace nature.
Yeah, your Discord profile picture is throwing me for a loop. It's really I gotta get something like that. It's
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've had it for a few months now. It's this picture of a monkey, and he looks like he's actually. I don't know where he's sitting, but the monkey looks like he could be sitting at like a computer, perhaps, much like I am right now.
I thought it was a
Um,
person like the first word you said, and then I just realized it's not. Oh, we got some people in the chat. It smells good. It smells good. We get it. You're a stoner. Mods, ban all the stoners. We don't. We don't support that here. Come on, right?
I wouldn't go as far to say it smells so good. I would say it smells good. I wouldn't be like it smells so good. It smells incredible. I wouldn't, I think that's the weed in your brain talking. I think it's okay. It's pretty decent.
Yeah,
Um,
I remember whenever I was very naive in high school, and then the someone would smoke in the bathroom, and the entire floor would smell like marijuana, and I would be walking around, and everybody would just be like eyeing each other, like, "Oh, you know what that means, right?" And I'd just be like walking around, like, ew, someone farted, and they'd be like, nah, dude, I don't think it's a fart. I'm like, no, I think it's a fart. I can smell it. Somebody farted. It's
Do
yeah.
do Canadian high school students, do they smoke cigarettes, or are cigarettes like not that
I
common
don't
there?
actually. No, cigarettes are not common here. You gotta go to Montreal for that.
Oh,
But
the French Canadians.
yeah,
I
they're a bunch
see.
of like fakes, man. They're like wearing Canadian goose jackets and smoking cigarettes. It's quite.
French people love cigarettes, man.
Yeah,
I feel like as soon as anybody speaks like even a word of French, they immediately get addicted to nicotine and they gotta start chain smoking.
I
Um,
think it's cool, man. I think I see a lot of. It depends on what you're wearing, or the location. If you're like waiting on your
mhm.
skid, you're picking up your kid from school and you're smoking a cigarette, then you're a loser. But if you're like next to some, brutalist building wearing a
It
trench
definitely
coat,
is a vibe.
yeah.
I wish it wasn't so deadly. If it wasn't so deadly, I probably would be smoking cigarettes. Like I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like it's just one of those things where it's like I have smoked cigarettes before. I've talked about this in my stream before, but when I grew up in Estonia, cigarettes were very common. I first smoked a cigarette when I was like 7 years old, um, because it was just like fucking kids would be smoking cigarettes, everybody would be smoking cigarettes, and when I was growing up, I would I was kind of like peer pressure because everybody was doing it, so I would do it sometimes, but I never really got into it because even when I was a kid, I was just kind of like, this seems like very pointless. Like I'm gonna fucking destroy my lungs and for what? Um, but it is cool, and also my aunt, she because there's these things called like lady cigarettes, which are so stupid, but they're basically just like skinnier and longer cigarettes. Um, and I get for some reason they're called like women's cigarettes, and then she would smoke these and they smelled so good. I'm not even gonna lie.
That's
Like
women. Women usually smell good, yeah.
the like those cigarettes smelled really good. Ask my I would ask her to give me a ride because she would always smoke in the car just so I could smell the cigarettes.
Yeah, they probably got some incense in there or something to really, you know, it's just innovation, I'd say. I mean, n-
Yeah.
nothing against. Yeah,
You
I
want to get
always.
a
Yep.
you want to get addicted to nicotine together?
I thought about it. I think actually Freddie really scared me off because he's been trying to quit for a while. It's so funny because he like vapes now, just to like get off of like cigarettes, and like
Mm-hmm.
he'll post a TikTok or something of him vaping, or like there's a vape and everybody's like, "Stop vaping, dude," and he'd be like, "I'm trying to stop smoking." Yeah.
You know, it's good to have someone like Freddie because I have my cousin's like 10 years older than me. And I think he was kind of the person that kept me off cigarettes because he got addicted to cigarettes and he was always like, do not fucking smoke cigarettes.
Yeah, I
So it
think
was like,
that's the
the same
biggest
vibe.
thing is literally everyone who smokes is begging you not to smoke. Like if
Literally.
and I think it's just like I think I like drooled a couple times and like you don't hit a vape and you're like, "Oh, I need this." Like there's a stage in it where you are forcing yourself to like it and
Mm-hmm.
past
Yep.
that then you can't control yourself. So that's why
Yep.
yeah, if you smoke a couple cigarettes, if you get peer pressured a couple times, that's besides the point. If you're like smoking it, then yeah, I know for a fact you were pushing through it for a bit for some reason. I don't know what reason.
Oh yeah, because everyone's like most people's first cigarette story. I don't know why this didn't happen with me, but when I first smoked cigarettes, I was just kind of like my like 7-year-old ass was like, eh, I don't really get the hype. Like that's all I felt. But then there's a lot of people who when they smoke cigarettes for the first time, they feel like really ill and they get like a headache. Um, so then it's like, and I feel like also I feel the same way about alcohol. There's a lot of alcoholic drinks that literally taste like ass. They taste like floor cleaner, like whiskey. That shit literally tastes like floor cleaner. And then there's all these fucking dudes that are like sitting there sipping on their whiskey, being like, "Oh, this is fucking good. This is so good."
I think it's like that skunk smell, you know. It passes a point of does this taste smell good or make me feel good? It's uh, kind of the you're getting that feeling after you hit it or you drink it, so it turns into just anticipation is what it tastes like. You just taste in the. It's like when cows, how cows can smell an earthquake coming. You're just that taste is no longer about taste. You just know it tastes good
Mm-hmm.
because something's coming, and that's like. And it rained today, and it smelled like rain outside, and that was freaking poggers. That's
Dude,
great.
that smells fucking incredible.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
smells so good.
Like, my favorite thing used to be when I used to live in the countryside, I used to love just walking barefoot outside. I don't know what the fuck it was about. My mom always just say, you need to walk barefoot outside because it's good for you. I don't know what she meant by that, but she just kept telling me that, so I started doing it.
I think
And
that's true.
there's definitely like my favorite thing would be right after it rained, walking in like the wet grass. Just felt good.
Mm.
It's just fucking I don't know, man. And then, dude, when somebody's mowed the lawn, oh, that's fucking good smell. That is a great smell.
Yeah. Or if mowed and then rained on, and then maybe someone smoked a blunt there too. There's
Oh, just pure vibes at that point.
yeah, maybe a little bit of smog in the air to top it off. I think yeah, it smells like Estonia to be honest. I got a what's a very Estonian thing?
um, being introverted.
Really? I feel like is that like what's that corner of Europe? Is that area got a name for it with like the Russia Ukraine type Estonia?
That
Is that a
that
name?
yeah, that's Eastern Europe. I would say Estonia is
Eastern.
more like a hybrid of like Northern and Eastern Europe. And Northern Europe, Eastern Europeans are not very introverted. Eastern Europeans are very like I think Eastern Europeans are probably some of the most powerful people on earth because you could probably, some of them could literally take a bullet to the head and they would still be functioning fine. Like I don't know what the fuck they're made of, but like, they are literally terrifying. But Northern Europeans, because it's like, all the like because it's right, Estonia is right next to Sweden and Finland and all these countries as well. And these countries, we all have this thing in common where everybody just is kind of reserved. Like, I think a big culture shock to me was when I went to America for the first time. I was in Target with my friend, and this guy comes up and he's like, "Hey, man, I fucking love your shirt. What are you here with your girlfriend?" And I was like so confused. I was like, who the fuck is this? Why is he talking to me? Like, why is he like asking me this fucking question? It's like, I was like, yeah, man, thanks. No, it's not my girlfriend. She's just my friend. And then he was like, yeah, cool, man. Where are you from? And I was like, Europe. And he's like, well, where from in Europe? And I was like, you know, Northern Europe. He's like, yeah, but like, we're from in Northern Europe. And I was like, oh, Estonia. He's like, ah, right on, man. And he just walked away. Like, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, you'll love it in Canada. You would love it because that's all they're doing here. Or that's my favorite is whenever it's just like, all right, and then they just walk away. Like I think I do that. I do that for fun. You need to try that. Just like be that person who's like scaring people.
I I saw a clip of you on my For You page where you were talking to like a mother at a playground, and I thought it was really funny. It definitely did inspire me to kind of do the same because I was just like, that's such like a random conversation, but I thought it was really funny.
Yeah, that's all I actually do it an uncomfortable amount of times. It's so bad because it started from like I was trying to be more confident and like just start from square one and like I would get something from a Starbucks and I'd be like, oh, your name is Janet, nice. and and at this point like you do it enough times and you feel like it's like your world. You're just like messing around like with like NPCs. Like you're just like you go up to someone and you're
That's the best way to
just
view it.
yeah, it's literally
I
you'll never see him again.
I'm definitely like the same way. Whenever I'm on a trip, for example, I give so much less of a fuck because I'm like, there's literally like 0% of a chance I will ever see these people again. So why should I give a single fuck about what
Yeah.
they think? So I'll just do like random shit. I like to kind of embarrass my friends sometimes because I think it's funny.
Oh
Um,
yeah, if you're with a couple friends, then it's lethal because then you're going wild. Now you got an audience. So I think yeah, if you were here, we would be wreaking havoc in every gas station we pulled into. I'd say.
that's a lot. I really gotta come visit. We gotta do like a group meetup. Get the Da Vinci twins involved. Go
And like
like
Freddie and Curtis Connors.
yeah.
I think
Let's fucking rent a van and go like on a crazy trip.
yeah, a tour. We'll do a tour. We'll sell out a couple arenas. I think people would definitely see that. That'd be like like a circus coming into town. like, it's just like Freddie's cousin is the funniest dude ever. His name is Bradley. He's literally a taller Freddie who looks like he's just a little radioactive version of Freddie. It's the funniest thing ever. And like them two come out, and then it's like the twins, and then that'd be really scary. I think that could be.
I think it would be a fun fucking time. You know what I am excited for? I want to do IRL streams. Like I want to go places, fucking bring the stream. I don't
Do
know,
it.
get crazy.
Yeah, do it. I just did one recently. I snuck into a middle school. I think that's what the clip you saw was from. And
Yeah.
I went to their park, and yeah, I got
Didn't
recognized by a
you
bunch of kids.
didn't you call like one of the kids like Junior or something? I thought that was really funny.
I think they were calling my name. They were like, "Are you Hamza the Fantastic?" And I was like, "Oh no, I'm not. I don't know what you're talking about." And
How do you feel about that, getting recognized in public?
I don't often, but when I do, I'm just like I just have as much fun with it as I can.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the scariest thing when you get recognized. I'm always wearing this damn beanie, and then I got a mask on. You just got my eyes. That's it.
Yeah,
So
that's fucking crazy how
yeah,
they'll catch you from that.
so scary. Yeah, I think that's the scariest part.
I my opinion on it is this, that like I kind of always wish that I do not get recognized near my home because I don't want people to know
Mm.
where the magic happens. But uh I get recognized quite a bit in Estonia, but because Estonians are so introverted, nobody's ever come up to me. I just know that because they will either point at me or they will literally take pictures of me, or they will like it's so obvious when somebody recognizes you. Everybody thinks like, oh, the person doesn't know, but like it's kind of obvious when somebody's minding their business and when somebody has you in their sights. Like it's like they act different, they move different.
That would get in
Um,
my head. That used to get in my head because I would be like, "Is this person? Are they like? Do they recognize me, or am I? Do I just think people are staring at me, or is it like my fit, or is it like, do I have something on my shirt? Like, what is going on?"
that's definitely happened to me. The the first time I ever got recognized, I think it was like right as I blew up on YouTube. I was going home on a bus, and I was just sitting there with like a fucking salad and shit, waiting to go home. And I get home, and I think I got like my flu shot that day, so I was like really tired. So I went and slept for like 3 hours, and I wake up, and all my friends are like, "Dude, what is this picture? What is this picture of you?" And it's just a picture of me on the bus. I'm like, "What the fuck?" So somebody saw me on the bus and they took a picture of me, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's like one of the most like peculiar things that's ever happened to me."
Where'd they
I did feel
post it?
bad. They can't. So it was some girl that saw me on the bus, and because the bus was super crowded, they couldn't come up to me. It was like really awkward. So they took a picture of me, and then they went on my Discord and was like, "Guys, I just saw him on a bus," and my whole Discord literally bullied that person out of existence, and I felt so bad because I was like, "Listen, I don't necessarily advocate for people taking like random pictures of me, but like she was just, she was excited. She didn't know what to do. Like I'm not gonna sit there and be like, damn this fucking girl. Like I get it. And I wish I could have like spoken to her and been like, it's cool that we ran into each other. Maybe next time don't take a picture of me, but like I don't care that much. Um, but I don't know. Yeah, but in the U.S., dude, I've had people. They'll see me like across the street. They'll fucking yell out my name. They'll fucking be like, "Hey, Axel, hey, Axel!" Or like I got recognized on the Golden Gate Bridge.
Oh,
Um, this like whole family was running after me. And that was fun. I got recognized at a concert. Like Americans are way more extroverted about it. If they see somebody that they even kind of recognize, they start fucking screaming and yelling. Um, which is fun. I like that. I like when people make it clear. That way I don't have to think like, does this person recognize me, or is my like ego so big that I just am paranoid to the point that like every person recognizes me?
yeah. I think if you went to, I think it would. You ever seen BoJack Horseman?
I have, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why I just brought that up, but if you were in LA, then I feel like I would. If I was super famous, I would low-key hate it so much.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, like being like some. I thought about like Billie Eilish a few days ago. Like imagine her walking into a 7-Eleven. That would just be like in LA or something. That would just, yeah.
No, yeah, I've like, you know, Justin Bieber is, a pretty controversial figure, but when I look at like
He is. Uh
he's an interesting guy to say the least, but
oh.
I when I look at like any sort of like footage of how he like goes about his day, I'm like, dude, there's no wonder this guy's a little bit weird. Like his whole existence is so different from what we could even imagine. Like he can't even go get coffee for him and his wife without like a million people pulling up and fucking cameras all over his face and like fucking people like screaming at him and like fucking putting their hands on his car and like that's a point because I think it's also kind of different when you're like when you're a content creator because I feel like you know in some ways content creators are seen as more human uh so people kind like when it comes to like in-person interactions I think people are more respectful than they are with actual celebrities because I don't think people really see celebrities as people um so I feel like when they see a celebrity they just kind of act out um well so it's like it's fucking terrifying. I would hate that. I would literally stop going outside.
I think yeah, I think it's a combination though, because sometimes they need that. Because imagine if they did really humanize themselves. Um, that's like kind of ruining the magic. Like,
True. Oh yeah. I think the worst thing that could ever happen is like if Justin Bieber started like daily streaming on Twitch. Like I
yeah,
like him being at like from I like observing him from a distance. Like I don't want to get to know him. I have no interest in that.
and it's like, what if you wanted to, and you just like wanted to, but you just can't, or like. That's for me, like even on social media in general, I try to go that route of being super elusive and like, yeah, I'm just, you know, I'm just gonna do this, do here, and make sure when I'm doing something, it's, prep for that case, for that to be the case. But holy crap, is it, um, it's horrible, man. You just see that BoJack Horseman thing, and it's like people taking selfies with him, and he's just like trying to have a
Yeah.
conversation, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, 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 sick, got this picture." Or
I there was definitely experiences like that I had at like VidCon and stuff where people just some people like they really like don't have an idea of boundaries like Hoover, he's a pretty big guy and like one of our viewers tried to like they put their arms around him and like tried to pick him up and it just wasn't happening but the person like wouldn't stop and it was like oh my god what the fuck it
oh,
was literally
that's
like the
so
most
awkward.
uncomfortable thing ever.
I would have just called that out straight up. I'd be like, "What are you doing?"
That person was like one of the most interesting people I've ever met because they kept going up to like me and my friends and they were like, "You want to see a trick?" And then they would do a split, right? And then they did this to me where I was like, "You want to see a trick?" And then they started doing the split and they got stuck like halfway down and it was awkward because then they were just like standing there in this like awkward position because for something didn't work out in their split, so they were just like halfway down.
Oh, I love
And-
that so much, dude. That's and then I would have cherished that. You need to join them and be like just as bad.
I was just like, I don't even like man, I don't even know how to fucking like deal with this. And dude, it's just like some people, they're like, it's crazy how much confidence they have. Like, it's like, I'm like, damn. Um, you
Yeah.
ever been to like a convention?
Oh, I can't even. I don't think so, but I know like a convention type thing. But yeah, it's like no, I don't think I've been in like that kind of convention. No.
I gotta say, yeah, I, I like, I, how long have you been like, how long have you, would you say you've been like doing this, like, social media stuff?
I'd say year and a half tops.
Yeah, so you really like picked like the worst time to blow up because like you most of the time that you've been like there's been no travel and stuff.
Yeah. No,
Um,
literally, I haven't reaped any fruits of. Yeah. If
I
I.
gotta say overall conventions are a lot of fun. Um, though they're very you meet a lot of people, you meet a lot of other creators, and 99.99% of the viewers that you meet, they're very nice. Um, and it's a ton of fun. Um, but yeah, you'll always have some sort of like interaction where you're like, huh.
That's yeah. That's like the best way to. I want to go to conventions that I'm not like a Comic Con or something. That's what I want to go to.
I've always wanted to go to one of those. Those seem fun.
Just to see what's going on. Like, oh yeah, like a furry convention. I feel like there's a lot of libido in a furry convention. I don't know if that's just the rumors, but I have to go check it out myself. I don't know how.
Libido.
Libido, that's like the you're too young.
Like, like I know what it means, but like, does it mean what I think it means in that context?
Yeah, furries. That's what I heard. They just like,
Sexually expressive, yeah.
yeah, it's like let's go, because it's like, I mean, I can imagine it's like so awesome because I think furries are few and far between. So you get there and it's like, oh, like everyone here is down with the mission. This is sick. So I
That
think,
is,
yeah,
that's true. That must be quite like a liberating feeling where, kind of you have to hide your persona in your daily life, and then you go to this convention, and it's literally like the norm.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
I got a good. I think that's what our conventions are. Is like getting in the norm. Comic Con. Everybody's there to talk about. Comic Cons are never even about like, what are they about? They get like the Stranger Things kids in there sometimes. Like,
Yeah, they got like fucking the big superhero guys and like bunch of
and
cool celebrities and shit.
yeah, celebrities. They kind of mix in like video games. I feel like. Hey, what's up, Stone Paw? How is it that when you join, the whole chat is just like whipped up into shape with freaking what's it called? Oh my god, I'm blanking out. B
The pound
B
emote.
BTTV, BTTV.
Oh yeah.
Everybody, holy, everybody, man! It's like I'm a streamer. This is sick.
I noticed once I joined, a bunch of my viewers were in chat and they kept asking who I was because they thought it was funny. Like a bunch of names I recognized were like, "Who is he? Can anybody say who he is? I don't know who he is."
I think that was actually just people asking.
I'm a pretty famous guy. I think most people know who I am.
Well, maybe in Estonia. I mean, but it's around these parts.
Estonians fucking hate me. Oh my god, Hoover got a sub.
Oh snap! I just got gifted. Thank you for the 5 gifted. I haven't been reading much. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Melody. Thank you, Gianna. Thank you, Yo Bro Ava, Haley, Fiend Silver, Gabriella, Jubilee, Mackenzie. Yeah. Thank you.
Here's a
Yeah.
deep question for you,
Mm.
and this is another word that's been tainted by memes. But you ever get imposter syndrome?
I thought you were gonna say like Among Us or something. Imposter syndrome. I don't think I'm deep enough to be honest. I think I was in a fork in the road where I could have got it really bad, but
Hmm.
I just chose that like, especially with the whole. I feel like what can cause imposter syndrome, or
Hmm.
is like I feel like getting canceled is a really good way to get imposter syndrome,
Oh yeah.
because then you give some ingenuine like that's where the split happens. Like all of a sudden, I'm not doing this because I love it. I'm doing it because I have to, and all you guys are like bogus to me. Like that's a or and then that's like a split right there. I feel like that's a good spot. Or
Hmm.
let me get what is imposter syndrome? I think I know. It's like whenever you don't know who you really are, kind of, and like you
It's
want.
it's like imposter syndrome is like feeling like you don't deserve the success that you received and you shouldn't be where you are. It's just it you feel like kind of like you feel like a fluke and that you shouldn't actually, like for example, like if you're a kind of like a successful streamer or whatever, you feel like you shouldn't be that successful streamer and you feel kind of bad. Um
Oh, that's funny because I literally was using a different definition.
you were
Um,
kind of on the same path.
um, I feel like that's happened, but like it's too deep in me to like even acknowledge yet or something. Like I can imagine it unconsciously, but I haven't had to face to face that, or I don't know. I think I'm a little bit of a. Does that make me a narcissist for not being an imposter?
No,
Um,
I don't think it's I think it's good to be confident within yourself. I mean, I I would say I'm kind of in the same spot where there's definitely, on a bad day, I could sit there and be like, I don't know, man. Like I think something that can cause it a lot is because, when you get when you get some younger viewers um who will really latch onto you. And those younger viewers will just say, like, oh my God, uh, you are literally the greatest person ever. There's nothing you could ever do wrong. And then it's like, hold on a minute. Well, I don't know about that. Like, let's swing and chill out with that. And that can definitely create this like uh weird feeling. And it's like I don't know, like people that like really crazily idolize me, sometimes they kind of scare me, but it's like, I'm pretty I'm like, I've been around long enough to kind of realize like, yeah, maybe I am kind of funny. Like maybe I am kind of like good at what I do. Um
yeah, I think you're. I'd say silly. You're a pretty silly guy and a good
oh,
time.
thank you. I think you too, man. I think you're a pretty silly goose.
Thank you. That's what I'm here for. And actually, yeah, literally from the first, I say literally more than a sophomore girl, but I'm not kidding. From the beginning of this, I've been like, I remember the freaking first night I got like the promiscuous video like launched into, I don't know if you saw that. I kind of started something there, but there's this little.
I have seen something along those lines. Yeah.
Yeah, the first time that happened, I was like, I went live on something and I was just talking about like, um, why are you guys cleaning? Um, I was like, yeah, I was saying, please do not idolize me. This is like
Mhm.
terrifying. Don't do this because, um, yeah, I was more scared at the time, less of like the imposter syndrome thing than like the cancel culture thing. Like something comes out
Yeah.
and I thought he was our guy. He was our last good one, and I'd be like, oh
Oh,
my
dude, that's the
god.
fucking worst. You know, the worst thing is like when somebody that you've like kind of associated with gets
Yes.
canceled or called out, and then they immediately go like, "Well, let's all go to this guy. This guy can't disappoint us."
It's like there's it's so many levels of that. It's like what are you? I swear I saw people say like, oh, we lost Weston. Let's go to Caitlin. It's like they're siblings. You idiot. Um.
No,
y-
dude, I literally, when the Weston thing was going on, somebody tweeted at me was like, "If I see you associate with him ever again, you are dead to me." And I was like, "Bro, you don't do you not understand how like, oh yeah, let me just like my friend did this thing like a couple years ago. I'm just gonna drop him. I'm gonna drop him right now. I'm gonna
Yeah.
goodbye, Weston. Fucking don't talk to me ever again. Like that's not how good friends work.
And
Okay.
it's even more than that. It's that you know them, they don't know them, and they think that they're this, and they're like most chances they're not. Like, like, yeah, obviously, if he was like if this person was an actual bad person this entire time, I probably wouldn't be their friend. I don't know. I feel like it's just so stupid, man. Yeah.
It is really a thing where it's like I have my own morals, and there is, I don't associate with certain types of people. There are people that I don't want to associate with just based off who they are and what their image is, and I would never in my life associate with somebody who is actually, racist or any of that. I don't stand by that. I don't
Yeah.
That's just not something I would ever even want to platform. So then to be like here's this person and like you need to cut them off right now. Like first of all, you don't control me in that way. Like that's some like parasocial shit where you think you can come to me and I'm practically a stranger and you can come to a stranger and say you can't be friends with this person. Like first of all, another thing is like some people expect like you got to put your friends on blast in public. Like I have a lot of conversations with a lot of my friends about a lot of topics regarding these, and they have similar conversations with me. We hold each other accountable behind the scenes. We don't need to bring everything into the public. That's just a bad thing to do. You're getting a bunch of people involved that have nothing to do
Yeah.
with it.
What's the point? Yeah.
Exactly. So it's so much better because it's like people assume just because they don't see everything that it doesn't happen. There's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes where You know, people call each other out. There's also, I'm not gonna lie, there definitely is in some circles. Some people do not fucking hold their friends accountable, but that's a whole other thing. I kind of try to shape my. That's how I try to like shape my groups and my friends and stuff. I try to hold. I'm very honest with my friends about how I view all of their actions. I love my friends, and I think the kind of the foundation of a strong friendship is honesty. You know.
Yeah, or any relationship that honestly,
Exactly. Yeah.
because that gets rid of a lot of the long-term stuff. If you just get it done in the short term, you just get it done with. And yeah, I think a lot of this stuff is so unnatural because this stuff isn't publicized for normal relationships.
Oh yeah.
So when people, man, it's just, yeah,
I
when people are just assuming stuff drives me nuts.
Another thing that just generally annoys me is that I'm all for young people having a voice and, having a place in the discussion, but the amount of times where somebody who's like 14 says something that is so out of touch with reality and it shows that they just do not have the experience to understand what they're actually talking about is really frustrating to me. And these 14-year-olds, they literally try to dictate people's lives, and it's like, like, dude, a couple weeks ago, I was talking about the similar thing on my stream, and somebody in chat said, "Well, you stopped changing after you're 13." Like, dude, can you imagine being the same person you were when you're 13? Like, bro, that's that's fucking weird. Like, I have changed like 150 times since I was 13. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, how the fuck would you stop changing after you're 13? You're telling me that like fucking the world leaders and like fucking like literally all like the lawyers and like everybody they're the same person they were when they're 13. Like, that makes no fucking sense, dude. Like, that is literally illogical.
The easiest way to just like prove that wrong is look at like a video of you a year ago. Like you're
Exactly.
probably gonna cringe, or you trying to be funny or something a year ago. You're just gonna be like, oh my gosh, yeah, that's called growth. Where do you think that came from? You're it's not the same person. If I met 14-year-old me, I'd probably, I'd beat my ass. I would be not
Oh
like
yeah.
my younger self. But yeah.
I would definitely like I would find like 16-year-old me really fucking annoying. Like, I think I would literally like lose my shit if I had to spend like an hour with like 16-year-old me. Like, it's inconceivable. And then, same people will say like, some creator will get exposed for something they did when they were like 13 or 14, and then you'll see somebody in replies being like, age is not an excuse. And then you'll look at how old they are, and in their bio it'll be like, I'm 14. It's like, bro, you don't have any fucking clue. Like, I'm sorry, but you seriously don't have a single clue on this subject, clearly, because what you're saying does not make sense. Like, I'm not saying, let everybody off scot-free no matter what they did just because they were young, but you kind of have to like really contextualize things, and you have to put it in perspective.
Yeah,
Like,
age and time.
it's
Like
exactly.
14 now is not the same as 14 in 2016 when, you probably would have seen some. I remember like, dude, I don't know if this is just me or what I was on, but like every direction I looked when I was in 2016 was like SJW owned, bro. That was like everywhere I looked.
Yeah.
Like in no way, shape, or form was it cool to be socially like aware or something. Like that was like, oh, you're a lame if you're like taking this seriously. So
There was a lot of like the really harsh and sad reality of the internet in like 2016 was that there were a lot of really subtle pipelines. Like, the whole like anti-SJW shit and like all that content was a really subtle like fucking racist pipeline that a lot of people did not realize. Now, is that like acceptable? No, it's not. It's not acceptable. But that's just the reality of how it was. And most people who were caught up in that, they have opened their eyes and kind of seen, you know, uh, the problems within all that.
or
Um,
or like most importantly is like, yeah, if you take something from the past and like trump what you already know of them today is like the stupidest.
it
Like
is,
they
yeah.
think like they've like Scooby Doobed you. Is that a that sounded really like weird to say, but like they take off the mask, they're just like, you've been this the whole time, and it's like it's like, What are you doing? It's just so embarrassing, and it's so performative in my opinion. I think
It
cancel
is, yeah.
culture is beyond performative, or most of it. Like when it passes like the third degree, I think it's just like you're still talking about this. Like, okay, Tony Lopez is
Yeah.
a is a pedophile. Nice one. Okay, we're good. Like, you're not canceling him. He's done. Like, just stop talking. Or there's just some stuff that's just like,
I, you know, it kind of like it kind of like makes me think of the whole like recent Carl Jacobs thing where uh I always think what it is good it's good to have these conversations where it's like, when I was younger, this is how I saw things, but I've changed. It is good to have these conversations. It's good to talk about change. I think everybody's good to it's good to have these conversations, but then to make these like immediately jump to these insane conclusions based off something that happened like years ago and stuff. I think it's a bit ridiculous because I think a lot of people that were canceling Carl Jacobs for like watching Ice Poseidon probably watched Shane Dawson.
they
So
did that.
like,
They canceled him for.
yeah, he had to put up like a bunch of statements and stuff. And really some of the Carl Jacobs stuff seemed like to me was just, um it seemed like, and this happens with a lot of people, there's obviously always very valid conversations to have, but there's some times where it seems like people are just piling on things because they love to hate somebody, and they use this kind of veil of like social justice as an excuse to just go after somebody, and it keeps happening.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of these people, they drown out any sort of dialogue, so they, it kind of turns into this thing like whoever's the loudest is the most right. It's really important to have dialogue. Dialogue is the most important thing. Like, it's there are so many people whose perspectives could be swayed just with simple dialogue. Like, it's really important. And then as soon as we, because this is something that was brought to my attention recently, that kind of there was a fallout of the uh whole Carl Jacobs situation, where a bunch of people that have not been on Twitch, they don't use Twitch emotes, they don't know Twitch culture that well, they don't know that Twitch has been around for 10 years. Twitch was not something that was born onto this earth as soon as Dream fucking started using this platform. But a conversation started about the tryhard emote. And people on Twitter were saying that the tryhard emote is racist, and, saying tryhard7 is racist. And that is because, like 5 or 4 years ago, tryhard is an emote that's been around for literally almost, I think, close to 10 years. And there's nothing inherently racist about the tryhard emote because it's just a picture of a person of color. To say that this emote is racist, in it, like inherently racist, is weird because, like, what does that even mean at that point? What really happened was like 5 or 4 years ago, racists just kind of started to sabotage this emote by using it in racist contexts. It was a lot of like,
Kind of like
like
the
Ice
Pepe thing.
Poseidon's community took it, and they really like, they started using it in context that a lot of people do not agree with. Now, since then on Twitch, I would say there's definitely been kind of an evolution. Not in every chat. There's still some streamers that do not really hold their chats accountable. But there's definitely been a shift where people use tryhard for what it was meant to be used when it was first created, which is not in any racial context. It's just an emote, you know? And people on Twitter, they kind of have completely ignored that growth, and they'll go on Twitter and they'll fucking paste this like random definition they found on some page to be like, oh, this emote is racist. And there's no denying that it has been used in racist context, but you cannot let racists dictate this kind of stuff, because there were, genuine conversations at one point, like, should the emote be banned? But then it's like, what do we do then? Do we need to ban every single emote of a person of color because racists will just use them? Because
Exactly.
the most annoying thing about Twitch culture at one point was racists, or like just fucking edgelords and just literal the most fucking annoying people. Whenever there would be like a black person on screen, they would spam tryhard. Whenever there would be an Asian person on screen, they would fucking spam Li Ming, which is another emote. And what do you do at that point? Like, you can't let these people kind of change the whole definition, because these are just normal emotes that happen to be of people of color. And if you start taking them all away, then that's weird. That's weird that you're literally taking away every emote of a person of color. Like it's just not it's not really the move, you know. It's really you kind of like the 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 internet has caused kind of the racists and whatever of like 4chan, for example. They tried to hijack the Pepe at one point
Yeah,
too.
the Pepe.
That was
Yeah, that I know.
yeah, like they tried to take that over. They tried to turn it into like an alt-right symbol. And what we learned was that if you don't give into it, because if you stop using the Pepe, then they get it. That's their symbol. They get to fucking reclaim it. And then, you know, fucking mainstream media, they won't do any research. They'll start fucking labeling anybody that's ever used Pepe a racist. And then guess what? The racists have won.
They
So what
got
we
pretty
learned from
deep.
that,
They got pretty deep with the Pepe thing.
yeah, they did. They almost got away with it. It was like really close to them just fucking taking the whole thing. But as years went on, you know, it changed, it evolved. But yeah, sorry about my tangent. I just wanted to kind of talk about that.
Didn't they do that with the, like, OK symbol too, or like
Yeah,
the
that was a really that was crazy because the whole reason why they started doing it was it was a thing that kind of started on 4chan, where they basically, you know, they came to a conclusion that, oh, the OK sign means white power, and then they kind of made this so that it would cause a lot of confusion because there's going to be people that's like, oh, the OK sign doesn't mean white power, but then it got co-signed by actual racists, and it turned into this like whole fucking whirlwind where, you know, actual white supremacists started using the OK symbol, and it was this like weird dog whistle where the regular people that were not invested in the internet culture, they would, you know, completely dismiss it. It's just, I don't know, it's so, the internet is a hard place to deal with. It's not as black and white as being like, you know, the emote try hard is racist just because it was used by fucking shitty people in a racist context. You know, that's a kind of like the wrong way to deal with it.
I think, yeah. I think a lot of this is uncharted and unnatural at that. Like what even is this? Like, what would this be in real life?
Yeah.
Like, it's just so quick. Everything's so quick. Anyway, I do have to wrap this up. Mom's
It was a
on
good
me.
talk.
Yeah, good talk. Very good talk. And the sun's probably rising in Estonia right now, and
Oh, it is, yeah.
I'm probably go on a walk and get a double hot dog or whatever you want to
You know what? I might, just in your honor.
eat at 6 in the morning. Yeah. But thank you so much, Axel, for coming on.
I had a great time, Hamza.
That was like a podcast right there. We could have recorded that and made that. I'm out of character.
You got to get me on that shit, man. I'd love to do one of those episodes.
Yeah, I'd love to have you on. You're bound to be on. I'm excited.
Fuck yeah, man.
All right. Thanks
All
for
right,
coming on.
I'm gonna head out. Love you, man. Bye bye.
Love you too. Bye bye. Wow, that was a lot better than boy advice. Okay. Well, I say that's where we end it. Thank you all for joining. Thank you for the subs. Thank you, Abby, Cool Q. Thank you, everybody. Solid 2 hours and a half. And thank you all for joining. I don't know if I'll do this again, to be honest. Maybe I'll tweak some things and make it better. But is it? No. Oh, I thought Aaron just rated me. Is Aaron streaming? Raid call.
You got $1?
Good night, Hamza.
Good night. Thank you, Catherine. Oh my God, that's a tenner. Thank you, Catherine. That's so nice of you. I will have a great night. I hope you have a great night too. See you guys. And tomorrow, new podcast episode. Everybody gotta hype it up. Post it everywhere. Put on your stories. All right, we gotta get this out there. We're the future. All right, see you guys. Oh, I'm live.